I found this cherry low mileage BMW E30. I brought it home, we got her cleaned up, and we got her running and driving again after years of sitting. Last episode I did a full inspection. We also checked compression on the engine and diagnosed some issues. However, one thing I did not talk about was the condition of the interior. Now everything's pretty decent besides some leaking door seals, leaking sunroof seal. One thing I did not mention is the wipers do not work. On top of that, the driver's side seat does not recline. It gets stuck and doesn't want to go down. So I'm going to fiddle around with some interior stuff today while we're waiting on the bulk of the rest of the parts for the car to show up. Now as far as the windshield wiper switch goes, it does absolutely nothing for the motor, but if you see up top, the washers do work. Check the fuse for the circuit. That's number 5, this 25 amp fuse, and that is good. And it also wouldn't be blown because that's the same circuit for the washer pump, but the washer pump is working. So my thoughts on this are, it could be a possible bad switch. Next thing I want to do is get access to the wiper motor, check to see if we have power to that, and go from there. So from what I've seen, it looks like we need to get into the blower motor cavity, work our way down under here, wiper motors down here, we can check for power. Now I think this job should take priority over the seat repair because, well, we kind of need windshield wipers to drive, especially up here in the Pacific Northwest. It's pretty important. 15 mil. Now sometimes these can be difficult to wiggle off. That's on a lot newer cars too, so we'll see if I can get lucky. Oh wow, very lucky. Anytime I'm working around paint, I like to use these plastic tools. Just reduces your risk of scratching anything up. You can kind of get a little bit more aggressive with it. Feels brittle. Don't want to break it. All the clips are still intact. Hell yeah. Doesn't look like we have room to access the wiper motor, so I think we're going to be pulling this rear cover off, trying to get access that way. Neighbor's dog is barking, so let's see if they want some string cheese. Hi Zoe. You want some cheese? Everybody likes string cheese. Get a little nibble on that. Yeah. Get yourself a piece. Yeah. She's an old bully. Yeah. Oh, you took the whole piece. You got it. No more. All gone. Looks like a 7 mil. All these old school E30 connectors are different than the modern ones. Looks like maybe a little bit of corrosion in the contacts. Let's get the multimeter hooked up, see if we have any voltage going in to the wiper motor. So we're just going to test them out. Right there we already have 3 volts. Voltage goes down as I go up in wiper speed. I'm not familiar with this wiring circuit, so I'm going to do some more research and then potentially power probe this thing. See if I can get it to go by commanding it. Let's grab the old power probe. Woo! We got movement. Hey, we got wipers. Wiper motor works. That's good to know. The wiper motor does indeed work and it's not frozen up. We just need to figure out why the wiper switch is not working. So now we should take a look at the back side of this wiper switch. Not really sure how to do it on this model. Let's pull this down too. So apparently there's an intermittent wiper relay somewhere in this vehicle. I gotta be gentle on my back. I re-aggravated a back injury a couple days ago. That's why I haven't been posting too much. Just been trying to rest and get my back sorted. Steering wheel is removed. What's really interesting is there's a empty plug floating right here. And I'm not sure why, but I think it's supposed to be connected up to this relay. Oh, it's the door chime. Someone left the door chime unplugged, which is nice. I kind of like having that unplugged, so we're probably going to leave that. This ground comes over here, so we ought to check this one for ground. Okay, this ground is good. This ground is good. Yep. I'm pleased to see what looks like factory wiring on everything here under the dash, which is a great sign. It's always a sad sight to see a bunch of screwed up wiring connections down underneath. This looks a little bit aftermarket. Not exactly sure what that goes to. Let's see about just taking this wiper switch out completely. Hey, my pant leg caught it. Knew that hole was for something. Okay, now we should be able to wiggle this wiper switch out of here, I hope. Here we go. Ground here, and without this, we lose our ground. I can hear something running on this circuit, which is purple and black. Okay, silly me, I didn't notice it because it was black, but the intermittent wiper relay is right here. Let's see, I popped the cover. Nothing out of the ordinary. None of the solder junctions seem to be broken. I'm no pro at diagnosing relays, but I can at least do a visual inspection on it, and I don't see anything out of the ordinary. What you doing? Chewing on a blackberry? It's got thorns. It's gonna tear you up. I do have an old invoice here. Customer states windshield wipers intermittently stutter. When on downstroke, cause faulty wiper relay. They replaced the wiper relay. Parts warranty verified. Removed the relay, cleaned contacts, reinstalled. Windshield wipers started blowing fuses. Replaced wiper relay, issue no longer present. So, they did have an issue with the wiper relay in the past. We have another invoice here from August. The last one was in November 2012. Replaced wiper relay. Cleaned electrical connectors at relay, verified operation. So the dealer has to special order a relay. It's like 220 bucks. I've seen them on eBay for like 40 bucks. I'm going to see if I can feel any movement at the relay when I probe the switch and see if power is stopping there. Last thing I'm going to do is give it the old tap. Okay, so with my limited understanding of relays, this thing was honking like a horn when I was sending power to that violet black wire. I tapped it, it no longer makes the noise. We have ground at the steering column, we have power and ground at the wiper switch. I'm going to order up an intermittent wiper relay. This black K10 in the junction box. Electrical diagnosis is tough, and it takes a long time to learn, and I'm not that good. I got a lot to learn still. But we checked the switch, We sent power to the motor. We know that the motor's not getting power. Now this is not keyed, so I just got to try to get it on nice and straight. Steering wheel roundel back in. Got some tacos in me. Time to get the engine bay put back together. Now that that's back on, it's a good idea we refresh this vacuum line. This stuff is old and tired, and it's not too bad, but we're going to refresh it anyways. Cut that to length. At least we're making a couple small repairs while we're in here. We got fresh vacuum lines from here down to the bottom, goes to a nipple right back on the intake manifold, and that's what pulls vacuum to this unit, and then this hose goes from here to the vacuum advance on the distributor. Next, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Good fit. Put this one on a little bit above the resting position to match the other side. Good. All right. Next order of business is I want to figure out why this seat does not recline. And also I want to figure out why the seat back is pulled off. So I'm going to rip these nuts out. There should be another one in the front, and pull that bolt out and that one. Let's take a quick look at the carpets. Definitely some rust down into the carpet there. Same on this side. The carpets look relatively decent, but that rust is creeping in from the seat brackets. All in all, not too bad. It's really just the seat rails that were rusting, but I think we can clean them up and paint them later on. Sure is a comfortable seat though. I just washed this moving blanket. First thing I notice is both of these shocks are not installed. I believe they should be on here, but they're not. Same on this side, not installed, just flopping around. This cable's nice and tight, but the other one is a lot more loose. This lever actuates a rod, and that rod runs through this seat base. It went, and on this side, it's not actuating far enough to push this pin and to get it to release from the teeth. Fit this in between here and release it. That'll actuate it all the way, which it did. The question is, why isn't this releasing all the way. Hi, Sage. You got a dirty little nose. Well, my first idea is to try lubricating it. So I'm going to protect some of these leather sides and try to get some lube down in there. A little bit of tri-flow. So what it looks like is happening is there's some type of bond right here, some type of epoxy or something, and that seals this little key onto that shaft. Now when I actuate it, you can see that shaft slipped inside the key. Right here where this little thing mates on, I think we need to like somehow re-epoxy this so it seals on tight. Got a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. I got some 1 minute instant setting epoxy, clear. And while that cures, let's try to clean up these carpets a little bit. I'm waiting for the epoxy to dry. Check out this radio issue. When I mess with the volume knob, the connection with the speakers cuts in and out, and it just gets this deafening crackle. I can wiggle the knob. Gotta be a bad stereo, right? I think if we replace the unit, it should fix it. What do you guys think? New day and we are back. Back is feeling a little bit better. Let's take a look at this seat. My epoxy job is cured up. Seems hard enough. We'll get this seat upright and see if this repair fixed it. For now, of course, it'll be a temporary fix. Okay. Let's see. Ugh. The epoxy's holding nicely. I really like these seats. I'd like to keep them. Just doesn't have enough force to get that pin to push down. I wonder if I can stretch out this spring. Well, the seat saga continues. Spring real quick. Okay. Aha! But then it doesn't return. Disconnecting the spring helps. I think this mechanism is just worn and the tolerances are sloppy. I want to stretch out this spring, reduce some of the resistance in it, and maybe that'll fix the issue. Okay, I took it over to the bench vise and just tried to stretch it out a little bit. Because I can still hear the teeth on the gear catching on that pin. So I'm gonna stretch this out a little bit more, get a little more resistance out of it. We'll try it again. Okay. The shock may stay installed if I take this ring off and install the bottom first. I don't have this little locking collar for the bottom side. Drop this guy on, compress it all the way, and reinstall this. This owner's manual is the coolest. So here, upwards is going to give us seat back adjustment. Down is going to give us our seat inclination adjustment. But check this out. Just a couple pages later, we got all of our fluid capacities here. Fuel, coolant, oil, manual trans, automatic, power steering. And then look over here, we have spark plugs. We have valve clearances for inlet and exhaust. We even have our belt measurements here, which this would have been super helpful for me when I was ordering belts, because the resources on parts ordering websites are not as good as this manual. So just such a cool piece of literature. I wish owner's manuals were this thorough nowadays, but they just really aren't. Very cool book. All right, let's flip this thing over and take a look at the seat rails. Goes down, releases the teeth that lock these inner rails into the outside. There's these teeth that it locks down into, and this rail here slides independent of it. This rod unlocks the same on the other side. Woo! Pinch myself there, but now they're out of alignment, so I'm gonna have to count the teeth real quick. Count this one to match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get it! You can see it came released from the seat back. There's the old screw that used to hold it on, and that screw has torn out from right here. There's the factory side. So I'm going to adjust the seat so I can get access to that Phillips, and then see if we can refasten this down. A nice little metal rivet. And that rivet just happened to tear out. I think we can fix it though. See if we can hit it with the old double washer stack. Well, it works. Get my greasy paws off this thing. Now we're gonna have these out again in the future, I'm sure, because I gotta redo these seats. That just drops, doesn't it? That's no good. I need to reinstall the steering wheel. There it goes. There we go. Okay, it works. Let's take a quick chicken break. I want to show you guys these things. I got them on June 9th, and they're getting big quick. I built this roost this last week, and it's been great. They're sleeping on the top. I need to get a run built stat. That's what I'm waiting on before I put out my DIY chicken coop video. But Sage is interacting with them, and they're being really sweet. They're growing big. Ooh, Sage, you got them fired up. Great little coop though, plenty of room, 6x8, plenty of room for 7 chickens. I gotta get this run built and get some nesting boxes in here for them because they're gonna be laying eggs before I know it. I'm gonna build a little run going out here, put an electronic chicken door in, and then build a little run back here, probably about 6 foot high, maybe 10 feet long. You love them, huh? Okay, come on, let's get to work. I didn't realize that this is keyed. Oh, it's for the turn signal, that's why. It locks out into these ribs here on the inside of the steering wheel. Okay. Let's reinstall it, see if that'll fix it. Still is having trouble locking out. So there's this little rod that extends up, drops down when you put the key on, extends back up when you turn the key off. That little key locks into these teeth on the steering wheel, and it's just not protruding enough. You can see some marks where it's been rubbing on it. So just try to lubricate it a little bit, see if that'll help. Just a little squirt of tri-flow. See, that time it didn't extend. Well, we'll just leave it for now. I need 2 hands, folks. Hey, better. Maybe the key needed to be all the way out. Okay, we're good. Another thing I want to check is turn signal release is working. Wipers still aren't working, but the sprayer works, so the switch still works. Good. Now, a question I have for you guys is, does anybody have this radio? But I really like this factory cassette radio, and I looked on eBay and they're like 180 bucks. If anybody has one, I'd love to buy it. Let me know. Looks like my seat back repair did not hold. Came loose from the hardware I had mounted down here, so I might try to fix it real quick, but ideally I'd like to order a new one of these seat backs. Probably be hard to find the same color, but I really like these seats. Look at this muddy little face. What'd you get into, huh? What'd you get into? Look at that. You got puppy mascara. You are one dirty pup. Well, it holds for now. Better than it was. Okay. Before I'm done for the day, I got to get this gauge cluster out because we got to look at these odometer gears and see if they're broken. Okay, and then there's supposed to be some thumb screws back here that hold this piece on. There's one. There's 2. This little guy out. You never see thumb screws on cars like that. There's 2 screws up here in the top of the bezel, but I already took those out while I was playing with it. Next ones are going to be these little screws here at the bottom. No, there's a couple more. So 6 screws for the bezel. over here. Okay. There's our bezel. Phillips up here. Phillips over here. And can I get it out with the steering wheel still in? We'll find out. Tilt this puppy. One there. One here. One more plug. Okay. Let's take this sucker to the bench. Gauge cluster is removed. Let's flip this bad girl over. Looks like these should be the ones we can take out. Locking tabs out, I think. Maybe. But boom. Hey, we got a VDO sticker floating around in there. All right, let's keep that glass protected. Okay, we need to get in here. I assume it's going to be these four. Have I ever done this before? No, we just winging it, baby. Needs to come off. If we look right here, it looks like we have some chunks of gear coming out. Could be grease, but it does look like teeth. So this odometer gear right here has failed. And so that's going to cause our issue with our mileage reading. So now I've confirmed it and I know it's failed. I can find a replacement gear. So I'm probably going to leave this torn down, order the gear, and replace it when it shows up, because you can see I can spin that manually by hand and it's not turning the rest. Confirmed failure on the odometer gear. I'm going to gently reinstall this just so everything stays in good shape until I get the replacement gear. I need to get that odometer gear sourced. I need to see if any of you guys have an E30 radio that matches the one in the video laying around. I would love to buy it. We got the seat adjustment fixed for now. We do need to spray paint those seat rails or replace them. I have a grip of parts coming, hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of parts. So this is just a little in-betweener video. Like I said, my back's been killing me. I had to take the last week off just to give myself a little bit of rest from the shop, but I'm feeling a lot better, so I'm ready to make some more progress. We're gonna have some absolute monster wrenching videos coming up on this thing, and we're gonna get this thing dialed. My stepbrother's coming up to visit on August 20th, so I'm trying to get this thing driving tip-top before he comes. That way we can cruise around the area in style. I know he's gonna love this car when he sees it. Also, quick shout out to the newest member in my YouTube membership program, Luis Davila. I'm gonna say it's Davila. If it was Davilla, the two L's make a Y in Spanish, so one L, Davila. That's what I'm going with. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the support. So, I hope you guys enjoyed, or I hope you learned something new. And as always, folks, I will see you on my next day off. Cheers.